Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the globe. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. Welcome, new friends and old alike. My name is Michael. I am the co-founder and president of Back to the Future Trading, and I just want you to know I am not your guru. I am a mere mortal, a person like yourself, degreed mechanical engineer, father of three, husband to a beautiful woman that I've been with since 31 years ago. I don't know how she puts up with me, but she's still around. Deep in the buckle of the Bible Belt here in North Carolina, broadcasting from my third-story attic office, the man cave in the clouds. It's such a great privilege to be here with you today, and I'm happy to share the things that I've learned with you. If you'll set aside about the next 45, 50 minutes for me, I promise you at the end of it all, you'll have learned some things about the markets that you trade and how banks leverage predictive time signals to push markets in the directions that they want them to go. And that's a lofty accusation, isn't it? It's an incredibly lofty accusation, and I'm mortified that I would even consider or say such a thing. And we're here talking about it with proof today, and I'm grateful that we can go over it. So first of all, our worldview, what we believe, is relatively simple. We believe statistically 95% of people can't all be on the wrong side of a trade. It's relatively impossible in terms of probabilities. And so, without thinking too hard about it, we've surmised that banks are cheating, that they're pushing markets up or down and manipulating those markets, luring people into stop runs where their orders are essentially liquidity, grease for the wheels of the financial juggernauts. Recently as this year, JP Morgan was fined close to $1 billion with a B dollars for their shenanigans in the precious metal futures markets. And this isn't something that you hear about on television. Your favorite talking head on the left or the right never mentions when Deutsche or Goldman gets caught with their fingers in the cookie jar. It's fascinating to me how, while all of our eyes are focused on a weather balloon with a Mack truck tied to it, companies like JP Morgan and Goldman and Deutsche report record profits year after year, recession or otherwise, depression or otherwise, global wars or otherwise. The banks always report record profits. So to prove to you that this exists, that this is happening, we've developed a machine. I build things. My father built things. His father built things. We've built things that help people do their jobs better, faster, less work. He taught me to work harder. Words are hard. He taught me to work smarter, not harder. Think about what I was doing before I did it. And so this machine that we've built, this indicator, in the market now, close to 15 years, over 3,000 clients all over the world, a 4.9 out of 5.0 Trustpilot rating, gives us the times and directions of potential moves in advance. You see, banks are sloppy. They leave breadcrumb trails behind. They leave trails behind in the data. These moves that occur at certain times over and over again can be found and projected forward into the future. And so earlier in the week, on all of our social media pages, on all of our email lists, we send out a web page in advance every week for the last over a decade now to prove to people that what we're telling them is in fact happening. And so if you're here today, if you've been following along, you've had access to this link, backtothefuturetrading.com/warp-webinar-forecasts/. And so the maps, the time maps, telling us what times to look for moves up and down, were published before the markets opened on Wednesday. And so, guys, we have an opportunity to look and see what happened after the fact. And so we'll be coming back to this page here momentarily. I just want to go over a couple things with you real quick and discuss the process of the webinar. I want to focus a lot on charts today and show you what's going on in live markets as opposed to hang out in PowerPoints where most gurus live, right? How many of you go to a presentation like this and the guy whips out a PowerPoint presentation made back in 1982, still has dated pictures and photos of laptops that are 4 inches thick? Yeah, we're not going to do that today. I do want to show you, though, the evaluation process. We've given out the times in advance. We've published those times and emailed them out, put them on our social media pages on Tuesday night. Wednesday and Thursday have all gone by. There's nothing we can do to change what happened. The times and directions were the times and directions, and now we're evaluating. And we're going to see, did they work, or was it a horrific Hindenburg mess, an explosion of catastrophic proportions? Now, you'll be surprised here. For the last 10 years plus, I've been doing these webinars, and I have yet to have a week where people didn't walk away and say, wow, hey, it wasn't supposed to work that good. Before we continue, I want to define two different types of information, because charts like the one that I was showing you, it's tempting to think that we should buy and sell at every one of the signals, and that's just not true. The chart, as represented by this horizontal histogram, is raw data. These are signals. These are the times the software has told us over the last several Fridays, last several Thursdays, last several Wednesdays, in this case Thursday, that banks have pushed prices higher and lower. The only reason these times are on these charts is because of a consistent, repetitive, over and over and over again movement at these times. So often that an emotionless, independent algorithm flushed them to the surface for us to see, having recognized the repetitive nature, the behavior pattern that keeps happening. And so it's important for me to define what the difference is between raw information, the signal, and a specific trade setup, because no two of you trade the same. Some of you are looking for tops and bottoms. Some of you are trading trend entries. Some of you are trading pullbacks to support or resistance levels that you find very useful. And most of you are just looking to narrow down that window of time to a specific narrow set of seconds or minutes. And so I'm going to show you an example of a setup that has mechanical rules associated with it, and we'll look at markets together to see if those rules had any type of profitability associated with them. Did they have a positive expectancy? And we'll look at some raw signals here too to determine if anything useful took place. I want to start with a larger time frame signal. I've been a contributor now to several, if not more, futures groups, and one of the larger and more popular futures groups is the E-mini S&P 500 futures page on Facebook. And so you can see 8 hours ago, I made a post and I put the times up for the 5-minute chart in advance in the group. And then I also put a 60-minute signal on the chart. And if you can see here, the signal was from 4 o'clock in the morning until midnight tonight. And in the post, you can read along with me. We're bullish long-term on the daily, but the 60-minute chart shows bearish until midnight Eastern tonight. And you can see on this 60-minute chart that there's some pretty amazeballs things happening. First thing worth noting is when I posted that 8 hours ago, the 60-minute chart was here. So when I posted that screenshot, we were sitting at 41.55. And from that signal until where we are right now, the market has in fact fallen. So from that post until this moment right now is a $60, near $60 move, or $3,000 per contract from the post in that group. One of the things of note on this chart is how different it is from almost every other chart you've ever seen, because of the fact that we've uncovered a way to project signals in the future. We are, in fact, the only company that I'm aware of that has managed to post signals to the right side of the current price bar. When you're an engineer and you're not a guru, when you're an engineer and not a marketer, you ask questions like, how can we do this thing that has never been done? If we don't focus on Google AdWords and Facebook campaigns and sexy people on TikTok talking about how they're trading as a side hustle, making millions every day, you can build something amazing. And the amazing thing about this chart is we can see the upcoming signals to the right of the current bar. So when you're using this tool, you're seeing the map to the minefield. You're seeing where the landmines have been laid, and you know where to drive and where to avoid potential explosions or harness those explosions in your trades. And per what I wrote in that post, we're expecting this move to stop around midnight Eastern tonight. But relative to signals, I want you with me just to look at where we were expecting selling pressure, where we were expecting buying pressure. And you'll notice many times, at least half of the times, those signals represented actual peaks and troughs, places where markets actually put in a high or actually put in a low. And so these signals are the times that we were expecting something, waiting for something. These are forecasts that have been passed through. And so there are two things going on. We have what's waiting for us potentially in the future, evidence of institutional manipulation, and we have a record of what took place in the past. And when we start to go further and further back, you can see that these guys have been manipulating these markets for quite some time. And we begin to, I trust it after 15 years, but our customers, the more often they see where the raw signals are coming in and what happens, the more they're able to trust the upcoming predictions of those signals. When they see the high here predicted at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and the market drops and then rises again and drops, it's not hard to develop a faith in the tool and its raw signals. So that's one example of raw signals that we can look at. Earlier, about a month ago, we've been talking about this wonderful meme stock now. I think it's a meme stock, Tesla. And we told all of you on January 24th that the massive off-selling was finished. And this signal on the 24th, if you're an options trader or you're a buy and hold type person, that signal at the time brought us to $143. And we've seen a maximum favorable excursion of 73. So a near 50% profit in as many days. We've gone up here almost 2 weeks straight off of that signal. I'm now expecting a short-term pullback off of this intermediate cycle. We can talk about how I figured that out or drew that out. But for now, the main cycle was up from the 24th, and then another option availability here puts on December 13th, knowing that they had a shelf life until January 24th. I see the next signal is March 15th, and then after that, April 5th. The software is giving me a timeline of raw signals. And when we come and look and see what happened at those raw signals, it's not hard for us to see that it fell down on October 13th, that it pushed up on the 24th, that it dropped down on the 14th, and even a minor push up on the 29th, and then the drop down on the 13th of December. We can do this with any stock, any forex pair, the VIX, SPY, it doesn't matter. The software is data agnostic. Whatever we set it to analyze, it will tell us where the banks are hiding the manipulation pockets. So when we come and look, for example, at the daily E-mini S&P, we can ask the software to tell us where the moves are coming in the future. And on the daily chart, if we just look at the signals, it's again a matter of evaluating what was expected on a certain day and what actually happened. Evaluating what was expected on a certain day and what actually happened. Were there moves that were in the direction of the signal? January 26th into February 6th, and now we're sitting at February 15th. And so there's an expectation that we'll be higher on the 17th of March than we were on the closing price of the 15th. Not because of some spidey sense or tingle in my butt or something somebody said on the subway and I just had a premonition, or I'm a guru with 5,000 years of experience, because that's what the data suggests. When we ask the software to analyze institutional shenanigans, that's what the software is telling us. March 17th, April 24th, the dates are sitting there like appointments on the desk of Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. Now, there's a difference between the signals that we've been looking at and a specific trade rule, an entry and an exit. And on the page that I supplied the prospective customers with the forecasts for, I also supplied a set of trade rules that we would apply to the time signals when we got to them. Now, I want you to hear how crazy that sounds. Charles, I'm going to give about 15,000 people the times for Wednesday and Thursday in Eastern time zones. Then I'm going to tell them before the signals get here, not knowing what the market conditions are, I'm going to tell them when we're going to trade them, when we're going to get in, when we're going to get out, and how we'll filter all those things before I know the news, before I know what inflation was, before I know what Biden thinks those UFOs were, before any of that happens. You have the times in advance and the rules for the setup in advance. That's crazy. That's not what gurus do to make money. They make you sit there in their trade rooms. They make you take their free trial and endure the phone calls of these idiots who harass you at 11 o'clock at night and tell you you're going to lose all this money. You could be making money. I sit there and tell you I just got in a trade with my secret monitor that nobody can see. And you hope maybe this time you'll make a good decision when you buy something related to education and tools. I don't do any of that. We believe in this so wholeheartedly that we give the times in advance every week. We give the setup in advance every week. When you see this, this, and this trade, what is this, this, and this? The first setup is called a signal with trend. When we arrive at the times, we will be evaluating the trend with a 120 period EMA. Is there anything magical about that? No. It's the one I've been using, though, for over 11 years. It's just a good moving average. I followed a guy once who wouldn't tell anyone that he was using an 89 EMA. He called it his Omni Trading Academy proprietary moving average. I stayed up all night and tried every combination until I found it because it annoyed me. These gurus with their secret knowledge, I'm so sick of it. And now there's a whole new generation of side hustle young people on TikTok selling the same regurgitated garbage. I'm sick of the secrets. So many lives get destroyed when they buy this junk. And so the setup here is pretty simple. We're going to enter at the close of the candle. You can enter at the open if you want, and we pick the close. Your stop is going to be 1.5 average true range values away from the high or low of the candle, depending. You can make it smaller and tighter if you want. We find 1.5 ATR values is a good dynamic stop that moves in and out as volatility increases and decreases. We're going to exit by the sell time in an uptrend, by the buy time in a downtrend. We're not going to sell it here. We're going to wait for the next trend signal. Again, we enter at the close of the candle. Our stop is 1.5 ATR values away. We exit by the next sell time. You seeing a theme here? This signal. Enter at the close of the candle. Exit by the next sell time. And what we're doing is we're sneaking in these windows where banks have been caught buying and selling. And we want to try to make a few bucks if they do it again, so that their algorithms push our orders up with theirs. See, if you believe markets are fair and all you have to do is study hard and find a good guru and read a lot of books, and I read Trading in the Zone, and you have a good, my friend Billy's uncle was a pit trader in the 70s, and I got his super secret notebook. If you believe all that stuff is going to help you, then everything I'm telling you, you'll feel an abject hatred for it. But if you believe that everyone in power is lying to you about what we hear about on TV and in the news, and you're sick of hearing how there's going to be a soft recession and the next day it's going to be a hard recession and the debt crisis in Greece, and they're blaming it on everything, all the while shorting and buying and making billions. If you believe those people are controlling where markets go, then keep listening, because you're going to see some cool stuff. But if you think markets are random, I can't help you. My partner would say, you haven't lost enough money yet. So those are the signals with trend. Sorry if I got a little heated there. Okay, there's a variation of a trend signal called a crossover. Follow me. If you have a buy signal below the moving average and it crosses over and closes above the moving average, we're going to buy it at the close of that candle. We're going to put our stop one tick underneath the candle that closed over the moving average. And guess what? We're going to get out at the next sell time. So that's a crossover trade. It's just a variation of the trend signal. Next setup, it's called a puncture. Think of it as a breakout or a failure with trend. Now imagine with me here, stay with me because this one's a little weird. This 930 candle and this 930 signal, Eric, it represents a behavior pattern. It's telling us the software has uncovered that over the last several weeks, thousands of historical bars, at 930, it usually does this. It usually goes down. But Eric, the trend in this instance is up. It's rising up. So we want to be buyers, Bharat. Ahmed, we want to be buyers. Charles, we want to be in the trend. So the 930 sellers are a threat to my order. I don't want to buy and have institutional selling rammed down my throat. And then a curious thing starts to happen. Charles, that candle starts to get higher and higher to my stop line. And that tells me that the banks who normally sell, who've normally been selling, whose activities were flushed out and projected forward by the program, they're not. They've called off the dogs. They pulled all their tanks off the battlefield and went away. If there was gunfire and mortar shelling and howitzers booming at 9:30, we were listening for them and we didn't hear a thing. We heard the wind and a bird chirp. So the way this signal works is pretty cool. What we'll do is we say, all right, I want to be a buyer. I'm going to put a buy stop at the selling signal stop line. So I'm going to buy 1, 2, 5 lots, whatever your heart desires, at the 930 stop line. Because if we're here, there's no sellers. They're gone. And I'm going to put my stop right below the candle that punctured the stop line. And I'm going to hold it, guess when? Until the close of the next signal. Again, that window of time. Only this case, they've abandoned that selling position and they've allowed the market to continue to rise. Something changed and we're flexible with trend. Everybody understand that setup? It's kind of neat. And so what we're hoping for, if the theory is true, if the thesis is true, if the gurus are lying, and the TikTokers are lying, and the marketers are lying, and what I'm saying is real, then at the end of 2 days, at the end of one trading day, using 24, 48-hour-old projections based on institutional chicanery and a simple trend entry system, there's no way, Charles, that I should show any type of profitability. This shouldn't be an edge in any way, shape, or form if most of what I've been told my whole life is true. Markets are random. You got to keep an open mind. Don't have a bias. My bias is this. Someone in a very large office that's bringing everybody back from their work from home in New York City has a little schedule. And he calls his golfing buddy across the street in the even bigger building, and they talk to each other. Maybe electronically, I don't know how exactly it works. I do have customers who've been in those meetings who told me that what I've told them is real. They've said they've sat in an office with bankers and they've talked to each other on conference calls and shared where the next moves were going. Tried to record him, he didn't like it. So let's take a look. Now that you know what the setup rules are, we'll come over here and take a peek. First of all, before I forget, I got a guy that works with me. His name's Dave. And Dave always says there are SPY traders always bothering him. Does this work on SPY? Because I'm a SPY trader. I like to trade the SPY. I don't see Michael. Works on everything. If there were peanut butter futures, it would work on peanut butter futures. And so if you look at the SPY, before I forget, he always asks me to go over it and I always forget. I want you to look at where the software was telling us to look for up and down signals. And I want you to look at what happened at the times we were waiting for the things to happen. SPY is one of the most manipulated markets in the world. And the signal was short today at 245. It was long today at 150. It was short today at 1245, long at 1205, and short at 1110. The next signal is over here, 1225 tomorrow. I wonder what it'll do then. Again, these signals don't repaint. They don't disappear and reappear like the other Jackamo's charts do because they're horrible people. 100 years from now, when we load the historical data, these signals will still be here. SPY, if you're trading it without this signal, you're jumping out of an airplane with a parachute backpack filled with knives and forks and spoons. If enough spoons fall out, it'll slow my descent to the earth. These knives will cushion my blow when I hit the ground. I'm using an RSI with an 80-20 cross. Good luck. Because guess what? These were all phone calls across the street to their buddies. There's more phone calls waiting on the right-hand side. So if you trade SPY, get this tool. All right. So we looked at the 60-minute ES. We looked at the daily ES. We looked at Tesla. We'll come look at some of the big boys, the ones that people love to trade. Some of you are like me. You're E-mini NASDAQ traders. I want to go over briefly what happened in the afternoon so that we can talk about the basic signals, and then we'll look at the E-mini S&P 5-minute chart. Okay, ready? Here we go. Here's the setup. 248 is a buy signal in the direction of the trend. We enter at the close of the candle. We exit for a loss by 252, negative 3.5 points. 252 is a sell signal. It's blue and below the moving average. I have until 318 to get out. That is a $90 move or an $1,800 per move per contract signal. And that was a $13 risk. So you had about a 7 or an 8 to 1 risk reward ratio on that trade, the setup using the time from 2 days ago. At 318, we had a white dot in a downtrend. We're looking for a failure or a puncture with trend. Okay, so the first time that happens is right here. Our stop is 1 tick above the candle. We're in at the line and stopped out immediately. About a minute later, we give back $7.50. And then it hangs out above the line. There's still a little more buying. And then right here, Charles, is another puncture. We're short at the line again. And we're going to hold the NASDAQ now until when? Until the next signal at 339. We're out with another $28, or about $400 plus per contract on the macro, 40 on the micro. It's 339. The trend is down. It is a sell signal, just like its big brother at 252. We're going to get in at the close of the candle and hold it until 342, which becomes the new low. Not just any price bar, but the low, where it has a 2-bar reversal straight up for another $34.25. But Michael, what you're telling me is that you gave us these signals on Tuesday night, There it is, the 1 minute NASDAQ. There's the signal. 1518 over here, guys. 1518 over here. 252 up here. 252 over here. These are the farthest forecasts from the email that I sent out on the most volatile market you all trade. I love the 1 minute NASDAQ, by the way. It's my favorite. And so the farthest we can get from the forecast on Thursday afternoon all the way out. Here's the next signal at 4:01. Go ahead, get in there. Have a blast. You made $1.75. That's the difference. It's a setup. So when we add these things up, 13, 103, 130, 160, minus 10, 150, 145. So 145 times 20 in the afternoon alone is $2,900 per contract on the E-mini NASDAQ. Very similar setups if you're a forex trader too. Dave tells me some of you wacky people still trade forex. And if you were doing those same types of things on the euro US dollar, for example, you would have been short at 4:15 London time. That's about 9:15, and you would exit your short in the forex by 10:30 US for a 510 pip move. Right? You can see those signals with trend. Enter at the close of the 7:30 bar today. Look how far it goes, 450, and then it finishes today 146. Signals with trend. We look at the big boy, the big mamma jamma, the E-mini S&P, from the open of the London market to just now. Well, when did you give us those times? I put them in the email on the Facebook page 2 days ago. Did you know what the CPI was going to be, the large shock to the market? No, but they did. How many of you think that it was a surprise to JP Morgan, the inflation report today? How many of you think there was panic in the building? Oh, we got it all wrong. Or Charles, do you think that Wilfred called Rutherford, yeah, so we ready to run the markets down today? These people think that the recession is over. Are we still on for brandy and cigars this evening? Yes, I'll see you and Cindy later. Take care. Yeah, it's the latter, isn't it? Bastardos. So what do? The trend is down. 835, 635. Well, here, 555, we get in, we get out. It's a break-even trade. 535, we're in at the close of the candle. We're out by 745. There's our puncture right here. Goes through the white line. There's no buyers in sight. It's like a cliff diver jumping off the edge of the mountain in Greece into the pool below. Splash. This is a $37 move. Put it in the win column. Now, 920 comes. We get to the next signal. We have a break-even opportunity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row for 35 minutes. You're back to your entry. 40 minutes at 10:15. You're right back where you started. So Charles, you had a chance. You had a chance to get out break even if you wanted to. And then we exit with a loss at 10:15. We get in at 10:55, same deal. We finish by 12:10. Nothing magical is happening. The ES is a pain in the butt. We come in, then we have a loss. 1250. Trend trades get a little sketchy when the market consolidates. We have a stop out right here. We give back another 10. And then the clouds open. Oh! Above the moving average, above the moving average, above the moving average. There's our crossover right here. And Charles, it crosses over the moving average. We enter at the close of the candle. Here comes the big move of the day. And we're in and we're out by the buy time. We get all those losses back, $15. And then right here, it punches through that white line. You saw the trade if you logged in early today. I had it live. And we get in at the puncture. We get out by the next signal for another $9.50. Where was our stop? Stop was right here. That's a whole day of the E-mini S&P using the signals. And if we add it up, we'll see if there was a positive expectancy or an absolute abject failure. So we'll come here, we'll type them in. I got to lean in because my eyes are bad. $6 plus 37 plus 14.75 plus 9.5 minus 10 minus 8 minus 6.5. That says $42.75. Huh. Well, how much is that in real world? That's $2,137.50 minus slippage and commissions. We'll multiply that by 90%, figure around $2,000. What I love is the moves that we captured. We captured that move. We captured that move. And then we captured this move and that move. If you were a counter trend trader and you said, hey, I wanted to give 1015 a shot after seeing the support built in there, Charles, you would have caught this one. I don't know what you'd like if you're a counter trend trader. The three biggest moves of the day were captured by the software. Now, if you're a trend trader, funny thing, the statistics all kind of edge out to the same point. When you're a trend trader, your expectancy is anywhere between 52 and 55%. Your profit factor is somewhere between 1.5 and 2.0. And when we look across, in this case, 900 executions, we see 54%, 1.49. If we look at a different section of time, in the Asian session, for example, that's higher, 1.8 for the profit factor, 56% with a trend trade. That means you win about 56% of the time, and your winners are twice as big as your losers. Does that look like what we have here? Yes, it's still working. But I don't have a British accent. I don't have a Russian accent. I don't have a trade room or a Discord server. I don't have an army of college students calling your house on Saturday. I don't have a flashy media production company. Everyone's telling me I need to get on TikTok and sell Instagram ads. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to put you guys in a position where the market goes in your favor more than half of the time and you make twice as much money as you lose. I want to get you on stocks and options, put you in front of a VIX chart so you know what's going to happen before it happens, right? We can look at other markets like crude futures today. Crude's going bananas, right? Russians and the Ukraine and Saudi Arabia. Same thing. Same thing in oil. Here's a fun fact. It happens every day. The moves in oil are probably one of the most manipulated. The markets you think are the most random, the ones they tell you, oh, don't go near crude oil with a 10-foot pole. That's the one they're manipulating the most. And if you look at the signals with trend, you can trade oil when you get home from work if you got a 9-to-5 job. You're in California, even better. East Coast, plenty of opportunities. The markets move 24/7 now thanks to the industrial military complex. And all of these moves were pre-programmed, predetermined, carved in stone, despite the inventory report, despite which Saudi prince did what, despite which Somali pirate punched a hole in which freighter. It's all coordinated. And the further back we go in time, all of these signals were times that we were waiting for something to happen. And you start to see the same thing. 50% of the time or more, we make twice as much money as we lose with trend signals. Now, does that mean that's the only way to trade it? Of course not. Some of you are using different methods. I'm showing you a basic, simple entry and exit method. But you could easily come over here and look for tops and bottoms. You could easily come here and say, for example, hey, if my signal appears at the lower Bollinger Band, I'm going to buy. If it appears at the upper Bollinger Band, I'm going to sell. If it appears at the lower Bollinger Band, I'm going to buy. And that would be a valid trading system. This is called a mean reversion system. A lot of people right now are trading with a VWAP. How many of you went over to the VWAP? A lot of you. You take bounces off the standard deviations. You could just as easily do that as well. When I come into a resistance line at a signal, I'm going to put my stop one standard deviation above me, and I'm going to sell down until the next buy time or the next level below me. If I'm at a buy signal, I'll trade a pullback to the VWAP. I'll put my stop underneath here, and I'll trade it to the next standard deviation above me or the next sell time. All of these things work. I will sell it. If it pulls up into the VWAP, I'll get out at the next one down or by the next buy time. This would be a stop out here. So there's many different ways to trade it, but everything is based on the premise of manipulation. If you begin to understand how manipulated markets like Tesla are, when you begin to see that Elon Musk doesn't tweet because he's just a rambunctious rebel, that guy, and all of his buddies back in Congress who write him billion-dollar checks for putting his Starlink satellites into space so they can keep track of the Russians with the Starlink system and send up secret space planes with the SpaceX rockets. Don't think for a minute this market isn't manipulated. And you could know long in advance when the big moves were occurring. Look where the highs in this market were. Look where the lows in this market were. There were tweets here. There were tweets here and here and here. People in Congress earn close to 5 to 10% more than the average investor at the end of the year. Don't think for a second that Tesla is just doing what it does. So when we come back and we ask ourselves this question, was the software able to provide a statistically relevant leading edge? Yes. Another week in the hopper. You guys met Jacob last week. He comes in as a guest host. He's a customer. Jacob's qualified for no fewer than 5 funded accounts. I have one customer who has 20 funded accounts and is waiting for an $84,000 payout using these time signals. In the beginning, we weren't sure. Could we teach other people to use it? And now it's a landslide of positive feedback and stories like that. I have a gentleman I'm training. He's a farmer, salt of the earth. And he said, if it wasn't for what you built, you and Ron, my partner, I could never do what I'm doing. It's only using your tool that I'm able to do what I'm doing. He's making he made $8,000 in one day last week using the time signals. But you have to understand, you can't keep trading the way that you were told it works, because that's not the truth. It's a casino. And the house always has the edge. And the only way to beat the house is to count cards. Our software is a giant card counter. It's like Rain Man with blue and white dots. I'm an excellent driver. Trading is not what just happened. Well, I just saw a doji candle. I just saw a MACD divergence. I just saw the volume do this. It's in the past. It's like Rafiki in The Lion King. It can't hurt you. It's in the past. It's in the past. It's gone. It's an illusion. It's a distraction. They don't want you to remember that they're 2 minutes away from a buy time, and you're going to get locked into a breakout to the downside. You're going to panic and move your stop, and then you're going to get hit, and then you're going to buy in and make their prices rise. They're going to get in at wholesale because you forgot it's time to go up. The software remembers. It's always on the right-hand side of the chart, like Jiminy Cricket. Well, Charles, this is the time they usually sell. I wouldn't buy right now at the very least. Thanks, Jiminy Cricket. It's about being proactive, less stress. When you understand the rules of the game, there's less stress. I know what they're probably planning. I had a call from an associate yesterday. He was talking to a trader in his group. The guy was heavily invested in Tesla puts. He, quote unquote, bet it all. Life savings disappearing tick by tick in front of his eyes. I said, why is he looking at puts? It's a long-term signal. It's long. I have an email from a deputy firefighter. He's a deputy chief firefighter in Texas. He had a $540,000 account, and he lost nearly all of it. And I have an email, and he said, I'm considering taking my own life. I have a newborn due next month. These are true stories. I know a man who lost his business, his wife, and his children. He locked himself in his office 20 out of 24 hours a day. Sold all of his construction equipment, his high-low, his Bobcat, all of his nailers and framing equipment. He was building his dream home for his wife, had a successful company, and said, I'm going to peel back the layers of the trading onion. And he was the only person left in that house before they sold it. Lost custody of his kids, never saw his wife again. Dream house, somebody else's dream now. It doesn't work. The old way doesn't work. It's an illusion. It's a lie. Somebody who tells you different, they're trying to sell you something. 2 days ago, I sent out the forecasts to 18,000 plus people, 6 different Facebook groups. 2 days later, we come back together in the most manipulated markets, the E-mini S&P, SPY, Euro, US dollar, E-mini NASDAQ, oil, name your poison. It worked. Positive expectancy 2 days later. The market is what I'm telling you it is. It's the Bellagio. It's Caesar's Palace. It's the Paris Hotel. It's Luxor. Ding, 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 ding. You're not going to walk in there with your mortgage payment and come out with double. Simply not. Historically, 5 people out of 100 people who come through the website and take the video demo actually purchase. I tell my kids I know less about the markets and more about people than I did 15 years ago. People are generally self-sabotaging psychological balls of rubber bands. You know, present company included. We do things to hurt ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not worthy of success. We don't deserve to be financially profitable and successful. We're not smart enough. These are the things we come to the markets with at the beginning of the day. That's where most of us start. Most of you start. But 95% of people who see what I've shown them, unequivocally true, demonstrably true, supported by thousands of traders and reviews that are verified by a third-party company. They walk away and say, I'm going to do it the way I was doing it. I'll prove them wrong. And I always get a call on Monday, Dave. This is Bert. This is Susan. This is Bill. I was going to buy your software, but I took a big trade on Friday. I had a good feeling. I lost $50,000, $100,000. It's all gone now. Right when they're ready to make the decision and do the thing that will give them what they say they want, they blow it all up. Happens every week. People are fascinating. This is the world we live in. I worked for a man once who taught me a very valuable lesson. He said, whenever you want to know what's going on, follow the money. Follow the money. We're staring up at UFOs and shooting $200,000 rockets at balloons. How many of you have looked at the prices of the defense stocks lately? Anybody? How many of you have looked at Raytheon or Boeing or Northrop Grumman? Go take a look. Our markets are falling. Their markets are at all-time highs. It's a distraction. We need more F-22s. We got to fill up these HIMAR rocket barrels. Ah. Billions of dollars going into the defense industry right now with no bid contracts. We're running around looking up in the sky at giant white circle. Those with the gold rule. This is how most of you are trading right here. The 90% of people who don't buy the software, this is what they do every day, Dave. My MACD says this. Well, I have 3 consecutive higher high volume bars. Go ahead, buy it right there at the stop run. Try. And then this is what our customers do. We get behind the banks when they're about to break the law. We kind of cheat when they cheat. We stand behind the biggest lions in the jungle. When they feed, we feed. When they sleep, we sleep. When they move to the next group of wildebeests or zebras, we go over with them and we wait. When they feast, we feast. And the data doesn't lie. You saw the proof here today. How do you get this? Very simple. You can wake up tomorrow and know these times. You can have it. Most of you will lose the money it costs to buy the program between now and lunchtime tomorrow, based on my anecdotal conversations with you. You can have it. It's right there, proven to you in a way that no other vendor has, no other presentation you've ever seen before like this in your life. You can have it. The medicine is there. This is TachEon Warp. It's our flagship product. On average rated 4 or 5 stars by customers with actual receipts who are actually using it to trade. I'm going to paste a link into the GoToWebinar chat box so you can click on it. At the very bottom of the Warp page, this is an indicator for Ninjatrader 8. You'll see $24.95 one-time purchase. If you click buy now, a pop-up appears. We have a live trade room that meets just for our customers from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every week. If you need hand-holding, if you want to see live executions with the software you purchased, you can join our pro room. My partner runs the pro room in conjunction with a successful customer who trades live. Our customers are now starting to run the company with us. I'm successful. I want to help other people. Great. If that's something that you'll benefit from, it's 25% off if you purchase with Warp, and it's only $150 per month. Remember, I showed you $2,000 in hypothetical trades today in one session. If you don't want it, don't put it in your cart. You won't hurt my feelings. Not all of you learn that way. Click on the X for the purchase agreement. You're going to agree to the terms and conditions, and then you're going to type the phrase WARP OFF in the promo code. When you do that, it's going to take $500 off the price because my accountant says we have to offer promo codes. That helps people. So promo code is WARP. It makes me think of that old sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. WARPOFF. No spacing, all lowercase. When you put that in here, then you're going to go to checkout. If you have a PayPal account, they'll let you finance this, I think, for 6 months. You're going to get a lifetime license. You're going to get 2 computer licenses. You're going to get white glove installation, access to our video training archive. You'll have the ability to meet with us for mentoring and training sessions. There are 5 of us here working to help new traders. 2 of them are profitable traders you can meet with one-on-one. You can meet with my partner and I. We both trade our software signals. So there are tutoring and mentoring resources available if you're more of a one-on-one person. Lifetime license, there are no additional fees, charges, upfront costs only. We want you to make money and tell your friends and family, which is where most of our leads come from, referrals. Most of you heard about us because of something told you. Woo! Well, that was fun. As I promised, it was about an hour. I hope you learned something today. I want you to be paying attention as we move into the future. I want you to know when you leave here today, if you don't buy the software, the next big move you see, most of us here knew it was coming. Not because we're smarter than you or we have more tools or experience, because of what we believe. We believe the market is rigged and the power players project where they're going in the future. They don't think you'll believe that. They want you to believe in the Bigfoot, Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy story. If you work hard and you write a trading journal and you blah, 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 you'll be successful someday. Keep at it, Billy. The evidence is in plain sight. I've proven it here again. Nearly 15 years, over 3,000 customers, almost perfect Trustpilot rating. What will it take? Today's your day. Thank you to those of you that are customers for enduring my evangelical presentation here today. I appreciate you. Sometimes I get a little excited, but it's only because I want people to stop losing their life savings, losing their families, their businesses, their friends, their kids, their marriages. I get tired after a while. And I get angry when I see people selling garbage and saying stupid lies and taking traders' money. You get tired after a while. When you have the answer, you get excited. So thank you for those of you here today that are customers. Thank you for your support. Keep your eyes open for more opportunities for training and ongoing development. We care about you. We want you to continue to succeed, and we're here to support you. Thank you to Dave. And if you get an email or a phone call from Dave, just know he works with us. Dude is salt of the earth, honest as they come, and he cares about you. He's a trader also, and he's seen a lot of bad stuff. So if you get a call from him and he's following up to see what you think, answer the phone. You talk to weirder people in your life, just listen to Dave for a minute or two. He's probably going to say something to help you get on board. So hear him out. Now, as we go, may the wind be at your back. May the beautiful, glorious golden sun shine upon your handsome, beautiful faces. May the valleys of adversity lay low before you. May the mountains lay low as well as you move forward into these next few days, weeks, months. We wish you peace, prosperity, health, joy, fellowship. Turn off the TV, turn off your phone, talk to a neighbor, plant a flower or a tomato, pet your dog, hug your kids, kiss your wife. We only get so many days above ground on this little blue marble. And in the end, this is just trading. So Warp will ultimately save you time. Time is a commodity we only have so many minutes of, and it seems like lately people are dying younger and younger. The news reports are this person was 60 something, this person was 58, 57, 55. It's scary out there. Make the most of the days that you have. Make memories where you can. I love you guys. Thanks so much for listening to me and enduring my incessant ramblings. I'll see you all next week. For those of you that are customers, I'll see you in my training room tomorrow. See you in the live pro room tomorrow. Be safe. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Take care.